The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Oh, yeah. We are back with Flesh Wound After Dark. I'm your host, Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd. Todd, how goes the day?
That's why people last 3 seconds on the After Dark streams and click off.
With my voice, I bet they don't last more than 3 seconds, Todd. How are you doing tonight?
Chilling, ready to talk about some After Dark features, I guess we'll go with. Because I don't want to say erotic thrillers, because it's not strictly.
No, not strictly. Actually, it's funny with some of these, you don't necessarily remember until you watch. Like, no, that one was more like a sex comedy. But yeah, I'm excited to get into our films tonight. Which another, I think we might have maybe two more after this. Another Skinmax double feature DVD, which we will talk about. We'll get right into it now with our first film, which comes from 1995, 30th anniversary, and director Arthur Agelli, and that is oh, actually, I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just do this one first, even though technically the other one's older. I'll save face. It's the first one on the disc. So we have Lap Dancer. Passed over for a promotion and running out of money, Natalie bumps into Denise, an old friend who introduces her to exotic dancing to help her make ends meet. So Lap Dancer, the director, a little bit of background on this one, Arthur Agelli. He made his debut in directing the 1991 Adam West horror film Maxim Zool, which was a sort of demon serial killer movie, largely forgotten. Kind of one of those movies I expect to pop up on a Vinegar Syndrome box set at one point. He also did the romance film Unconditional Love, the 2013 horror film Ghost Forest. He also made the 2017 true crime Murder on the Cape, and most recently directed The Black Emperor of Broadway and Art Thief, two movies just from the last few years. Not an erotic thriller director per se. This is kind of like a one and done in that genre.
I think most of his genres are one and done. I mean, really. Other
Yeah,
than
yeah.
horror films. He's just a working director, it seems.
Yeah, kind of. And
I don't even want to say that. He doesn't, like, for a working director, they're far and few in between. It's like he goes in little spurts.
Yeah, big jumps in between projects. It's funny, when I was researching this movie, I was like, wow, Maxim Zool. That one even I've almost forgotten about. It's just one of those movies, came out with little fanfare in the 90s and was just gone. But Adam West is in it. I'd be curious to revisit it at some point. This one stars Elizabeth Wagner, who plays Natalie. She very talented, very beautiful. This is the only film she did other than this was the 1998 90s oddity. It was called 20 Gates, which was kind of a worked documentary about this guy just dating, looking to find love in LA, and she was the main girl in that. Uh, Interesting that she didn't do more. Like I said, very pretty. She can act. And yeah, those are the only two projects for her. I think Tia Carrere is actually also in 20 Dates as herself.
She is.
Another one kind of made me want to revisit. I remember it, but I watched it once, probably back in 98, and that's it. And our second main starlet in this one, Lynn Wolfe, who plays Denise. She was very active for a short period, basically 95 to 96. She did a lot of softcore stuff, though, in that time. Prelude to Love with director Ralph Portillo, who did our second feature we'll be talking about tonight. Also, the erotic thriller Watch Me, Love in the Night, Dance of Desire with Monique Parent, and she did have a bit role in the mainstream comedy Larger Than Life, which was about Bill Murray and elephants, from what I remember. So that's kind of the cast and the most notable cast and crew that we're talking about on Lap Dancer. So this movie, obviously time to sort of capitalize on Showgirls, which was coming out. And I remember watching it. This one I was able to rent at my local Ma and Pop, and it's better acted than a lot of softcore movies. Again, Arthur Agelli, it's interesting being this is a sort of one and done. Doesn't linger too terribly long on the sex scenes. This one is a little bit more restrained in that avenue for this type of movie. I mean, there is certainly some skin to be had here. There's a lot of it's kind of just stripper nudity. Denise, when she runs into Natalie, she's kind of like the problem friend, the really wild one, while Natalie is kind of on the straight and narrow, working this office job where she's underappreciated. The script is it's kind of odd for this one. The twist at the end, I'm like, okay. It's a very weird kink that this person has, kind of a voyeurism, lesbian kink that this person has, mixed with
Dan King shaping again.
I don't know how to describe his kink. Like, he wants to have these two girls doing the deed while he just does paperwork. It's a very strange twist in this movie that I guess we can call it a twist.
I was gonna say I wouldn't call it a twist, Dan.
It's very odd.
It's a reveal. It's not a twist.
It's a reveal, yeah. We get a lesbian Cosby, which that was kind of funny. This movie's a little bit of a mess, but like I said, I like our main actresses. I think they elevate it a little bit. There's not
They didn't have a lot to work with. There's script issues. It's even for an erotic thriller of the era, it still has its issues. But there's enough to distract us not to care.
There's enough to distract us, yes. I don't think this is going to be anybody's favorite erotic thriller. It needs more thrills, quite honestly. And I think that it's a little anticlimactic, too, with the two friends. Yeah. Like, you don't really get a resolution to their story, and the way they wrap everything up at the end, it's just kind of, okay. Well, this isn't very good. But I enjoyed some of the erotic scenes. I wish they had gone on longer, especially being that this is one of those erotic thrillers where the storyline is not the strong suit. It's, leaves a lot to be desired. And after the screw job at the end, we get no resolution with the two main women. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah. So I guess in short, yeah, Todd. I mean, what are some of your thoughts on this one? Because it's not very good.
No, but it's still entertaining enough. That's the thing. It's like,
yeah,
it gives us enough of the stuff we like that we're not mad at watching it. I don't think either of us are.
No,
it's one of those, like, it's fun if you have more people versus watching it alone, because it's a bad movie.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone's doing what they can with Everyone's doing what they can with the material they've gotten, and they're doing their best. It's just like I said, the script's lacking, but it's still entertaining in its own way.
How would you describe this one character's kink? And there's really no spoiling this movie. Like I said, it's all over the place, but he's just like, he wants like these two women to do the deed. He's not even really watching. He's just sitting in like this dark sort of set where he's just like, oh, I got to get this paperwork done by 5. And it's just like, what, where is the kink there? I can't even define it because it's not really voyeurism because he's not watching.
He just wants to be surrounded by beautiful women doing that kind of shit.
Pretending to work. All right. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a better answer, Dan.
Not a better answer. So yeah, the highlight for this one, if you remember Lynn Wolfe, like I said, only a couple years, but she did crank out some movies. And Elizabeth Wagner. I am going to say it made me want to go back and watch that 20 Dates movie, which I can almost bet is on Tubi without knowing for a fact. But I'm going to check that out. Surprised she didn't make more. There's not a lot of info out there on her. I don't think there's any real interviews to speak of that I could find. Could have certainly have done a lot more if she wanted to. So Todd,
not on Tubi, by the way, but you can rent or buy it on Amazon.
All right, there you go. I'll have to see if that even made DVD.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of a weird.
It's only telling me digital, so that's all I know.
All right. So Todd, what do you rate Lap Dancer?
Because I'm going off my entertainment, I was entertained enough. It is an average film, but I think they delivered enough, and the strip club stuff was fun, and it was enough for me to give it a 3.
Ooh, you're a lot higher than me. Yeah. I'm a 1.5. I did enjoy the leads, but it's kind of a road to nowhere, and in that case, I could have used a little more bump and grind than it actually.
I see. My thing is, it didn't go overboard, and sometimes, like, all right, I get it. Like 5 minutes later, I'm still watching. It's too much, so I was okay with the fact that we didn't go hard. But it ended.
I think my younger self was just always like, more dry humping.
Well, see, Dan, you don't need to for the extra dry humping now. You have access to other material, so I think you'll be okay if it's not.
I do, but I have nostalgia.
I understand that, Dan, but I'm just assuming you're not still squirting them out to Night Eyes 3. So I'm assuming you're. Maybe you are. I don't know.
I'm just saying there might be a nostalgia fact there once in a while. I'm not gonna.
I don't need Jesus Christ. No more erotic thrillers.
Hey, Shannon Tweed can get the job done without going full XXX.
But my point is, I'm not going to complain if we don't have 10 minutes worth of bump and grind.
That's fine. Some don't need it. I think if the story were a little stronger, I wouldn't have minded. But yeah.
All right.
So
I know I was being generous, but I did have a good time, even if it wasn't good.
If you had fun, you had fun. All right, so our second film, which is a couple years older, but second film on the DVD, is Bare Exposure, which is a 1993 film from director Ralph E. Portillo, who's come up before on our Skinmax reviews. And in Bare Exposure, when Clancy has a major problem with the mob, when Clancy, it's the way this is written. When Clancy has a major problem with the mob, because he can't pay a gambling debt, his friends help him out by redecorating an old building for a wet t-shirt contest. So a couple things I want to get into before I get into the cast on this one. And I'll tell you a little bit more because this one's not an erotic thriller, even though marketing wise, it kind of looks like it is.
Yeah, I totally thought it was going in. I was expecting that.
Yeah, there's a few other similar titles too, which you might jumble in your head with this one. So as you guys know, some of the Skinmax DVDs, some of the movies on there are the cut versions and some are not. So Bare Exposure on this this disc, which of course we're covering. It runs 80 minutes, technically 79 minutes, just right under 80 minutes for Bare Exposure. Now, I have this old platinum disc release of Bare Exposure by itself, which, if you look at the back, runs 85 minutes. That is not actually the case with this. This is also the 79-minute version. I re-skimmed over this, as far as I can tell, and certainly that close, they're the same movie. So if you grab the Skinmax DVD in this case for Lap Dancer and you happen to have this, no real reason to hold on to it unless you just want it solo. There's no special features or anything. So,
and with Lap Dancer, the Artisan DVD runs 80 minutes, or the cover states 80 minutes, but I think it's actually closer because I know it's actually 82. So I think it's the same cut. I haven't been able to confirm because I don't have the Artisan Lap Dancer DVD, but time runs shorter, and I was able to confirm it's the same cut.
Yeah, 83 minutes on this. So yeah, so
they did the opposite. They made it shorter instead of longer on the cover.
Lap Dancer has a couple moments where you like there might be a little bit more here, but
it feels like it was designed to be a little bit more restricted. Because there are some that were shooting for R's too. That weren't just always like Prism was always, we're giving you 2 SKUs, we're giving you R and unrated, but a lot of the other ones, not everyone did.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of background. You're getting the same old Bare Exposure you've ever had on physical media. So little bit about the cast in this one and the crew. Director Ralph E. Portillo. Interesting career. This guy made a lot of softcore, erotic thrillers, some sex comedies. He did Malibu Summer, Hollywood Dreams, Midnight Temptations, which we've done on the channel. Also Hollywood Dreams Take 2, the sequel, Target of Seduction, Bare Deception, and Naked Lies. He also directed the horror films Fever Lake and the first Bloody Murder.
The shitty one.
The shitty one, yes. Before the surprisingly decent Bloody Murder 2 with Tiffany Shepis. He kind of moved up in the world, though. He produced several WWE Studios films, including Fighting with My Family.
Some would say it's a lateral move, but
yeah, definitely definitely doing some more expensive projects. Let's just say Fighting with My Family, the Paige biopic. He also did Buddy Games 1 and 2.
I was gonna say, I know he did the Buddy Games and the Night of the Animated Dead one also.
Yeah, he did Eliminators and Marine 5 and 6 and Armed Response with Wesley Snipes and Seth Rollins. So that's
and the Shawn Michaels classic, The Resurrection of Gavin Stone. Don't forget that turd.
Oh, there you go. Was Shawn Michaels in that?
Yeah, that's the religious one with Shawn.
Oh, okay. I never saw that. So
yeah, I was forced to.
The Shawn Michaels Jesus movie. Who forced you to watch that?
My kid wanted to watch it. Goddamn WWE promoting it.
Wow, I'm surprised he went for that one of all things.
Well, we did finish it, so. Well, I mean, he didn't. I did because movie OCD made me finish it.
Yeah, well, Heartbreak Kid, got to make up for all those drunken shenanigans when he was asshole Sean back in the day.
Well, Whisper was getting. Never mind. We'll leave
the Marines beat him up, brother. This also stars Tammy Parks, who she was in a sci-fi film, erotic sci-fi film called Game of Pleasure, which is on Blu-ray now. You can get it through one of the Vinegar Syndrome partner labels. I believe that one's Saturn's Core. I'm not 100% sure, but it is out there. She also did some work in Seduction Cinema with Titanic 2000, The Erotic Ghost. She was in Day of the Warrior, the Andy Sidaris film.
Got to work with Marcus Buff Bagwell.
Yes, she did.
That's what
She
I was
did.
waiting for.
Claim to fame. Attack of the 60-Foot Centerfold, great movie. She did Cyberzone with Mattias Hughes for Fred Olin Ray. She's had another kind of interesting career because she did do some triple X features, some fetish type stuff uh, like the Tight double feature. She also did Strap on Sally 8, Strap on Cockfight, coming to 4K soon. So little bit, not a lot, but she did do some adult work. This was actually her first film that she ever did. This movie also notable stars Ashlie Rhey, who played Carlotta Bone in the Justine movies. She was in Bikini Drive-In, Midnight Tease, Forbidden Games, Body of Influence, which I believe we did. She did a little bit of horror too. She was in The Summoned, a 1992 horror film, Witchcraft 7, Judgment Hour, Cannibal Taboo, Dead Country, and her last film, Pot Zombies 2.
Yes.
Yes. So
I did watch that this past year.
you did, yes, I remember. I don't think that one was officially Trauma, was it?
It's not. It is over there near Trauma because
Yeah, the first one is. So as I was saying, this is really a sex comedy. It's a very simple sex comedy premise. This nerd who's kind of a dead ringer for Robert Carradine, comes to his friends. The mobsters are going to kill him if he can't come up with $5,000. So of course, let's take this property that he inherited and have a big wet t-shirt contest. And yeah, so bare exposure. This one, you get this. I call him softcore Corbin Burnson. He's like a 45-year-old college student that we kind of kick things off with.
He's probably actually only like 30 at the time, but it was a 93-30, so he looks 45.
He does. He looks like he's like end of the LA Law run at that point.
Yeah, I thought when we started off, I thought it was the back of John Cena's head. I wasn't sure.
And yeah, so he's banging Brittany, and we're kind of setting up this cast of characters. Again, Clancy's the nerd. This is much more familiar. I don't know that there's any, judging it as a sex comedy, I don't know if there's any like hard laugh out loud moments with this one. If you enjoy that vibe, there's a lot to like here. There is just enough nudity in this one. I think it satisfies a bit more than our previous film. The ladies look amazing.
We got basically a 30-minute wet t-shirt contest finale.
Yes.
Spoiler.
It does. There's some very nice boobs in this. If you're a boob man, Tammy Parks, Ashlie Rhey, they look great. The Daisy Dukes also looking amazing. This is kind of more of a vibe movie. I know that's kind of a lazy way to describe it, but there's no like, I can't really point to like, man, that had me chuckling.
It's weird. Yeah, no, it is. It doesn't have like, it's not like, I don't remember really laughing. It's like, it feels like it's set up like a raunchy comedy, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like the tone is like grounded and it's like doesn't give you those laughs. It's just a humorous premise and you get, they weren't, I don't know. Maybe they thought if you laugh too hard, you'd lose your boner. I don't know what the thought process was behind it, but it's, yeah, I enjoy it, but it's missing that. It's not like, this is like genre wise. It's weird. Cause yeah, it's the setup of a sex comedy, but it's not really,
It also, like, obviously this one, you can tell that there is a cut with a little more nudity, I think, out there. But this is what we got on physical media at this point. But I enjoy it. I would not recommend this, certainly if you don't like sex comedies. You're not going to find anything to enjoy.
I think
here.
this is like the best way, because it is it's not really sex, it's not really erotic. This is an up all night movie. Done. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit exactly into everything. But yeah, it's that vibe. That's the vibe it is.
Yeah, you're gonna cut to a really frustrating cut of the top coming down. You get the girls back, and then we cut to the mobsters giving a wedgie to poor Clancy. That's more or less what you're looking at here.
Yeah.
Everything kind of unfolds as you would expect, based on what we do have. I think there is enough eye candy here to satisfy. And I grew up on these movies. If you're just making the dive into these types of films, there's plenty of better places to start than here. But I enjoyed it. It's an acquired taste. This one's definitely kind of a relic. It would probably play a little bit better if they had some bigger gags in it, but it is what it is. Tammy Parks, I do recommend looking at some of her work. I think she's underrated. Definitely not a household name, but she had a fairly long run and did some good work. She has presence. Ashlie Rhey, as I mentioned, she also had a good run. I like a lot of these, not really scream queens in this case, although I guess they both did just enough to qualify. They were big for a time, and they're getting kind of forgotten by time, sadly. But I think both of these ladies are fucking gorgeous and well worth diving into their catalog. Maybe we'll do Game of Pleasure at some point. That's on Blu-ray. I wouldn't mind covering it. So with that being said, Todd, I know there's not a lot to break down plot-wise in these, but what do you rate this one?
I've been going back and forth because it's one of those weird ones. Like you hit it like with the vibe thing. It's like I don't know who this movie's made for besides like weirdos like us. So, but I mean, it gives us what you want. I was going back and forth between a 3.5 and a 4. I don't know if I'm generous still. See, I know you know what? I'll be honest. I was really glad to get back into these. So I was like super excited. Like I'm ready for our next ones anyway. I'm gonna, because I feel like I overrated the last one, so I'm gonna give this one a 4. So it's gonna be
Well, you're a lot higher than me. I'm a 2.5, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's just this
again,
little more average.
It was, I don't know if it's just we haven't done these in a while because we've we've had them quite frequently, but we've had some in the chamber. So getting back into it, like I'm ready to keep going.
Yeah, I know our next 2 or 4 technically.
Well, I kind of have a detour I'm going to talk about after we're done recording.
Okay, awesome. But
because it's came up like multiple times in like the last 4 of these After Dark shows, so I feel like it's time to pull the trigger and do it.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, we're definitely hammering a lot of these out now that we're past our Oscar period. So it's like the Prestige is done. Now we're back into boobs and wet t-shirt content.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go. I'll give you a sneak peek. I think we'll have to go towards the bikini route next time.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice. All right. Well, that could be a lot of things, actually. So,
well, there's only one that's came up literally the last 4 shows. Specifically, it came up tonight too. So,
okay, yeah, I think I know what you mean. But yeah, like this movie, most of the humor is just like brief vignettes of these 2 mobster goons. Like, you better have our money soon, and it's like we're gonna chase you on the beach. We're gonna, could have used little more for me, but with that being said, guys, be sure to tune in next time. We got a couple more of these specific Skinmax ones coming. We got a lot more. Check out our horror show as well. which was a lot of fun.
HORROR.
Yes.
Just to be clear.
Yes. And we've got a lot more coming your way, so don't miss it.
Yep.
On that note, good night, sleep tight,
And the money's on the dresser.
There you go.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.